The events that are happening in my life right now have reminded me what the number one practice is for you and I to truly experience abundance and well-being. And it's being open. Seriously. I mean, if we didn't open to inhale the oxygen that's available to us, not too much well-being or abundance. Simultaneously, if we didn't open to exhale the carbon dioxide, again, we are not going to experience abundance. We're going to experience pressure and fear and tension and lack. Seriously. But to be open, well, then we have to trust. And I don't know about you, but trust is not necessarily my strongest muscle. We have to trust when we open to exhale that the oxygen we need will be available to us again. And we didn't make it happen. So that trust means we have to trust in something beyond our own efforts, our own perceptions, what we can do ourselves. And that's exactly what both Dan and I have been practicing these past few days. By the time you are watching this, Dan is either in or he's on the other side of surgery. Now, it's hernia surgery, which, is one of the most common procedures. Dan has avoided this surgery for about 6 years. He's very clear he can no longer avoid it. And yet, for him to have this surgery is bringing up, once again, trust. I have to trust this surgeon who we have great confidence in. Dan has to trust this surgeon and the team that will be working on him. But beyond trusting that, we just have to trust in something bigger at work in and through our lives, not knowing the outcome. See, trust doesn't mean we always get our way. It's no guarantee of results. When we're trying to guarantee the results, we're going to get what we want. We're trying to control. And control is a lot like these fists. That's what it feels like. I want to make sure everything's okay. I want to make sure everything's okay. And there's no way we can hold the intention. We can do our due diligence and pick a good surgeon and all of that. But bottom line, what Dan going into this surgery reminds me of is that the foundation of true abundance and well-being has to be trusting in something beyond our individual lives and our individual efforts and what we can make happen. And opening ourselves to that. Opening to what will happen without needing to protect ourselves, without needing to control. Trusting that love will always be at work in and through whatever happens. Trust is not a guarantee of our results, but trust keeps us open. And when we're open, then all that we need to support us with whatever we're facing in our lives, surgery, death, debt, challenges in relationships, and on the other side, joy and love and peace, it keeps us open. We don't have to make it happen, my friends. We can't even make so much of what we say we want happen. We can do our part, but ultimately our part requires that we let go of our attachments and we open ourselves to a power that's at work through everything, through a surgeon, through Dan's body, through my friends who are going to be with me while I'm waiting, through the power of prayer. We can only trust. And the thing that we have to trust is that there's something bigger that's at work in our lives and through our lives that we're part of and that's part of us is inherently loving and powerful and creative and generous. That's what we have to open ourselves to, my friends. We don't get to selectively pick, oh, I'm going to be open to joy and peace and everything going the way I want, and then I'm going to block this. Doesn't work that way. Something bigger is always at work in our lives, even in the most difficult or scary or painful situations. Will you trust this? Will you practice opening to this? You may not see it right away. You may not experience it right away. But if you can affirm it and open yourself to it and trust it, that gives you that same power and resourcefulness and access to that same love and creativity. That's part of the something bigger that we're all part of. So Dan and I, of course, are holding that everything is going to go great for his surgery. And I'll be eager to celebrate with you that it does. But the realization of this all had me once again realize that to truly experience life in abundance, we have to be open to the abundance of life, which includes surgeries and things that we may feel afraid and scared about. It includes pain, and it also includes joy. It includes loss, and it also includes, love. It includes so much. It's that wholeness that is both paradoxical. And when we can be open to it all, the fear and the courage, the sorrow and the joy, the sadness and the excitement, the mistakes and the successes, when we can be open to it all, experience it all, we have a power, my friends. We are being more fully who we were created to be in abundance. So here's the question. What might trusting look like today? What might opening yourself, your lungs, your hands, your heart, your mind, instead of trying to control and change and manipulate, what might that look like? Just once today, where you may find yourself wanting to go, no, or I'm going to hold on to this, or you want to protect and control instead of open and trust. I invite you just once, remember this message and open. Because sometimes it's in the challenging times, it's in the scary times, it's in the painful times. That's when we most learn trust. And that's when we most learn that there really is something bigger at work in our lives that we can trust.